A young soldier lies in bed, as was his habit. It's November 10th, 1619, and he's just had 3 vivid dreams that he interprets as a divine sign. His mission, to rebuild all human knowledge from certain foundations. His name is Rene Descartes, and the tools he creates for this mission, the x, y coordinate plane, the algebraic equation of a curve, will transform mathematics forever. In our last episodes, we explored the mathematics of ancient Greece, Zeno's paradoxes, Eudoxus's method of exhaustion, and Archimedes' extraordinary calculations. After Archimedes' death in 212 BC, mathematics entered a long period of relative dormancy. Welcome back to Men of Mathematics. Today we leap forward nearly 2,000 years to the birth of modern mathematics. René Descartes didn't just philosophize. He invented a way to turn geometry into algebra and algebra into geometry. René Descartes was born on March 31st, 1596, in La Haye en Touraine, France, to a family of minor nobility. His mother died when he was an infant, and his father remarried, leaving René largely in the care of a grandmother. Sickly as a child, he was allowed to stay in bed late at his Jesuit school, a habit he kept his entire life and credited as the source of his best ideas. While others rose at dawn, Descartes lay thinking, sometimes until noon. After studying law at the University of Poitiers, Descartes joined the army, not for combat, but for travel. He wandered Europe as a gentleman soldier, seeking experience of the world while maintaining the leisure to think. In 1628, after years of wandering, he settled in Holland, where intellectual freedom allowed him to work in peace. He stayed for 20 years, producing his major philosophical and mathematical works. In 1649, Queen Christina of Sweden invited Descartes to her court in Stockholm. The queen had unusual habits. She demanded philosophy lessons at 5 a.m. in a freezing library. Descartes, who loved sleeping late and hated cold, caught pneumonia and died within months at age 53. Before Descartes, algebra and geometry were entirely separate disciplines. Geometers drew figures and proved theorems about shapes. Algebraists manipulated symbols and solved equations. They seemed to have nothing to do with each other. Descartes changed everything with a single insight. Every point in a plane can be specified by 2 numbers. Every point becomes a pair of numbers, x, y. Every equation becomes a curve. Algebra and geometry become 2 languages for the same thing. Draw 2 perpendicular lines. Call one the x-axis, one the y-axis. Now any point in the plane corresponds to a pair of numbers, its horizontal distance x and its vertical distance y from the origin. This is the Cartesian coordinate system, named after Descartes' Latinized name, Cartesius. It's so fundamental to modern mathematics that we barely notice it, but in 1637 it was revolutionary. The power of Descartes' method lies in the correspondence. The equation y equals x describes a line through the origin. The equation x squared plus y squared equals 1 describes a circle. The equation y equals x squared describes a parabola. Complex curves that defeated ancient geometers yield to simple equations. The conic sections, circles, ellipses, parabolas, hyperbolas, become second-degree equations. Higher-degree equations produce more exotic curves. The correspondence works both ways. Given a geometric curve, we can find its equation. Then algebraic manipulation gives geometric insights. Want to find where 2 curves intersect? Set their equations equal and solve. The distance between 2 points becomes the Pythagorean theorem in algebraic form. D equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Descartes published his mathematical masterpiece as an appendix to his philosophical discourse on method. Though only about 100 pages, La Geometrie revolutionized mathematics. Book 1 covered geometric problems translated into algebra. Book 2 classified curves by the degree of their equations. Book the third addressed solving equations and the rule of signs. Descartes deliberately made the book difficult, leaving out steps and proofs. He boasted that only 5 or 6 people in Europe could understand it. Descartes introduced notation we still use today, x, y, z for unknowns, a, b, c for known constants, x squared and x cubed for powers, exponential notation, equations written essentially as we write them now. Before Descartes, algebraists wrote, the cube of the unknown plus 3 times the unknown equals 6. After Descartes, x cubed plus 3x equals 6. Descartes' fusion of algebra and geometry made calculus possible. Within 50 years, Newton and Leibniz would build on Cartesian coordinates to create differential and integral calculus. Finding tangent lines to curves, a problem Descartes addressed, led directly to differentiation. Finding areas under curves led to integration. Both required the ability to represent curves as equations. The coordinate idea extends beyond the plane. Add a third axis for 3D space, x, y, z. Add more axes for higher dimensions. Modern physics routinely works in 4-dimensional spacetime, and mathematicians freely consider spaces of any dimension. Every pixel on your computer screen has Cartesian coordinates. 3D graphics, computer-aided design, video games, all depend on Descartes' insight from 1637. Independently of Descartes, Pierre de Fermat developed analytic geometry around the same time. Fermat's approach was arguably cleaner. He started with equations and derived curves, while Descartes started with geometric problems. But Descartes published first and got the credit. We say Cartesian coordinates, not Fermatian coordinates. Descartes' mathematical work was part of a larger philosophical project, rebuilding all knowledge on certain foundations. His method of doubt, questioning everything until reaching something undoubtable, parallels his mathematical method. I think, therefore I am, is philosophy. But reducing complex curves to simple equations, complex problems to step-by-step solutions, that's the same approach applied to mathematics. René Descartes transformed mathematics by unifying algebra and geometry. Before him, they were separate disciplines with different methods. After him, they were 2 languages for the same underlying reality. The coordinate system seems obvious in hindsight. Of course, you can specify a point by 2 numbers, but that's the mark of a truly fundamental idea. Once you see it, you can't imagine thinking any other way. There's something fitting about Descartes' working habits. He lay in bed, thinking, while others rushed about. The coordinate plane, too, is contemplative, a calm grid on which the wildest curves can be tamed into equations. He died far from home, called to serve a queen who demanded philosophy at an ungodly hour. But his coordinates outlived him. Every graph you've ever drawn carries his name. As E.T. Bell wrote, Descartes was one of the most original minds in history, but his influence on mathematics, though profound, was due more to his method than to any particular discovery. Next time on Men of Mathematics, we meet Pierre de Fermat, the amateur genius who invented number theory as a hobby and left behind a last theorem that took 358 years to prove. His marginal note, "I have discovered a truly marvelous proof of this, which this margin is too narrow to contain," would haunt mathematics for 3.5 centuries. Thank you for joining us on this journey through mathematical history. If you're curious about the mind that united algebra and geometry, subscribe and hit the notification bell. New episodes release every week. I'll see you next time.